Ladies and gentlemen, it's always fantastic to have the one, the only Radio Griff right back here in Wenz World.
We're back, baby. We're back.
We are. Griff, how have you been? It's been at least 17 weeks since we've spoken.
At least. I'm doing well. I'm here in my bunker. I have not left since March. I'm surviving. Not sure if I'm thriving.
Well, you look great. You're well clothed. You have the greatest of all time jersey on your shoulders and on your back there. Number 10, Jimmy G. Garoppolo. Is this middle name begin with a G too? I feel like it should.
It should. I think Gucci.
Gucci Mane. Minus the epic rap battle. I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch that, by the way?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we'll get back to that maybe if there's time, if time allows. But right now we are back. Folks, I want to go ahead and apologize. There have been a lot of transitions in the world as of late. Viruses, role changes, all sorts of things. But Griffin has graced us with his presence, the great Radio Griff, host of the Good News Countdown, available wherever you listen to your podcast. It's like the best possible news that you can hear from time to time. It's one of my favorite shows.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Goodnewscountdown.com or on your favorite podcast app. We talk about good news.
There's so much bad news. It's so refreshing to hear somebody actually talking about good news, especially with politics and viruses and the Chinese Communist Party. We're digressing too far off the beaten path here.
But enough about the NBA.
Enough. Hey, only certain lives matter to LeBron James. But here, let's get back on track here. NFL weekend full of games, like literally, Griff, both days. I'm just basically going to have to abandon my family and check into a cheap hotel room so I can watch all of these games back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
That sounds like a plan. They're calling it Super Wild Card Weekend because they've added another team this year. So we have 3 games both days. Isn't that incredible?
It's just so much. And of course, the coverage is probably going to start 3 hours prior to the first game at 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be a 13-hour shift in my hotel room. I may or may not be wearing, boxer briefs. I don't know. Depending on the weather, I might have the window open. We'll do a live stream if I end up being able to use my credit card to check into this place down the street. But if not, I'll just watch them from home in my undies. Who cares, right? It's my place.
Sounds like a plan, yeah.
Absolutely. So here we are, Saturday, coming up 1 o'clock. This is a game that is really intriguing to me because, spoiler alert, one of my Super Bowl picks is coming from Wild Card Weekend.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, it's the Buffalo Bills as they take on the Indianapolis Colts. Dude, I'm so excited about this game, Griff. This, to me, is going to be the beginning of a show that really displays how good Buffalo is. Josh Allen is on a tear this year. Stephon Diggs, I think he had like 1,200 yards. Josh Allen is even making somebody like Cole Beasley look good this year.
Right.
I listen, I'm a Cowboy hater. He's a former Cowboy. Yeah. But it just goes to show that it's about the system. It's about the players on the field, and Sean McDermott and company are making this team thrive, not just survive, but thrive. I love Buffalo in this game. What say you, Radio Griff?
I think Buffalo rolls in this game. Like the Colts don't belong. They don't. Are they not the 7th seed? They're the last team to make the playoffs in the AFC. Like you said, though, I do think this is kind of a coming out on a national level for the Bills. People hear about them. We've heard a lot of talk about them, but how many people have actually had their eyeballs on Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs this year? They haven't had many primetime games. They're not on those now. Next year they will be.
Yep.
So I think, this is the only game on 1 o'clock Saturday. Josh Allen's coming out party. Their offensive coordinator, the Bowl, whatever his name is, already getting lots of head coaching interviews. Lots of teams want to talk to him. So maybe the Atlanta Falcons, where we are here in Atlanta. I think that'd be a good move by them. I think Buffalo rolls in this game. Phillip Rivers, maybe his last football game ever. Could your boy Carson Wentz be the next quarterback out in Indy?
Listen, if you want to go sidebar here, it's possible. Frank Reich, the coach of the Indianapolis Colts, heavy-handed in that 2017 season where Wentz was on pace to be the league MVP, of course, got hurt in Week 12 versus the Rams. But, all that stuff aside, Who knows? I mean, Phillip Rivers, never really been a fan of his. I mean, he holds a lot of records, but he seems to be like one of those guys that will be celebrated, but really doesn't deserve it. He hasn't done anything significant in his career.
A la Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice and Philip Rice. I think those two go hand in hand together. Yeah. So both of us are rolling with Buffalo here. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, after, my first round of 6 or 7 slices of pizza, maybe 2 or 3 adult beverages in, we have a 4:40 kickoff as the Rams take on your most hated and despised team, the Seattle Seahawks.
Hey, NFC West matchup. This game I go back and forth on, but I think the Rams are going to win this game. I hear Sean McVay saying he's not going to reveal who's starting at quarterback until the game starts, whether it's going to be Jared Goff or that 5th stringer they started last week. I don't even remember his name. Do you know his name? I don't know his name.
He's about as nameless as the Washington football team right now.
John Walford, something like that, right?
Hey, don't sleep on Dartmouth or William and Mary or Colgate or Crest, one of those third-rate colleges. Yeah, you never know.
Seattle, no fans, right? I mean, that's not a factor. Is it in Seattle, I believe?
Yep, in Seattle.
Yeah, in Seattle. So that takes that factor out. The defense, lots of people have said it. It ain't what it used to be, obviously. The offense, it's all up to Russell. Russell's got to carry that team. He's I will admit, even as a 49ers fan, Russell Wilson is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
He's the only reason that team is good. He's making Tyler Lockett look like a superstar. So, they do have DK Metcalf, who's pretty good. So, but pretty good. But I like the Rams to roll in this game. Roll. Now, here's the final score. Actually, it's going to be like 12-3.
That is a roll. That's a baseball roll.
12-3 Rams. Rams advance.
Wow, that is almost a tepid take, I'd say, here in Wenz world with Radio Griff.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to go with the right seed. 12-4 against 10-6. You bring it up. It's in Seattle. Russell Wilson. I feel like he has a little something to prove after Sierra's mediocre New Year's Eve celebration. Wasn't really in it on stage. I think he's going to kind of make up for that lackluster performance. So I'm going to take Russell Wilson at home to beat the Rams. And then, Griff, here I am. I'm bloated on the couch. I'm probably over the legal limit. Therefore, I will stay in my house. I won't even get into the garage. No housework, no power tools, nothing that could compromise the health and wellness of me and those around me. Here it is. The Bucs taking on this nameless division-winning team at 8:15. I'm sure our good buddies Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth will be butchering names and teams and making up stories of conversations they had with people throughout the week on both squads. The Bucs are taking on a 5-1 team. And the reason I say that is they're not playing Dwayne Haskins. They're playing Alex Smith. Yeah. And the Washington football team has stark differences in contrast with these two people. And what I mean is, on one hand, you have Dwayne Haskins, who was caught at a strip club with a stripper's derriere in his face, and her butt nor his face were wearing a mask, which I think are probably both appropriate. Didn't happen. He's off the team. Ron Rivera has made it clear it's my way or the highway. He's won the division. We can talk about week 17 against the Eagles. There's a lot of scuttlebutt about that and what happened with Coach Peterson putting in Nate Sudfeld or
Who?
Well, as Michelle Tafoya called him, Nate Sunburn after the game. Was epic. But getting back down to it, man, this is a good football team. And I know that people will say, how can a 7-9 team compete? Well, if you look at years past, we've seen under 500 teams, right? We've seen it with New York. We've seen it with Seattle in years past. And I wouldn't sleep on Ron Rivera. Alex Smith has a chip on his shoulder. He's a very, very good quarterback. He's experienced. And I don't know, man, you got a Florida team heading up to Virginia to take on the I almost said Redskins, but I'm not going to say Redskins. It's inappropriate to say Redskins. Yeah. So we're going to talk about them as the Washington football team, the giant W. Maybe that'll be my new logo for Wenz World, the W. The W. I'm going to listen, I'm not sleeping on Ron Rivera.
Whoa. Is this about to happen? Is this about to happen?
This is an upset special, Griff.
Oh!
This is an upset special. I'm taking the Washington dang football team to beat Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Mike Allstott, John Lynch, and all the previous players from Tampa Bay and their swashbuckling pirate ship with holes in the side. They got barnacles falling off. Everything is going to fall off for Tampa Bay. They're going to rethink this decision to hire Tom Brady. Although he was great this year, he came on late. This is my upset of the weekend so far. I'm taking Washington to beat Tampa Bay. A lot of people losing a lot of money in Las Vegas around 10:45, 11 p.m. Calling it right now in Wenz World.
Wow. I totally disagree with you. The NFL will not allow the Bucs to lose this game. Because if the Bucs win this game, do you know what awaits us next week? Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field. That will be the matchup, most likely. Unless the Rams win, but I think most likely Bucs Packers next week. Maybe the highest ratings we'll see for a football game in our lifetime. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna happen next week. I think the Alex Smith, Ron Rivera, Washington football team Cinderella story ends Saturday night. It's done. Alex Smith can enjoy that fake trophy that they made out of his leg cast. It looks really cool. They shaped it like a Lombardi trophy. I don't know if you saw that. Pretty cool thing. Enjoy that, Alex, because that's the only trophy you're getting this year, unfortunately. Great story, great comeback, but it ends. I mean, he's going against the GOAT, Tom Brady.
Whoa. The GOAT left New England before Tom Brady left New England.
Jimmy G?
Yeah, Jimmy G.
Well, Tom Brady is the other GOAT. There's two GOATs.
There are two GOATs to every story. Your GOAT, my GOAT, and the truth.
Yes. And Tom Brady's going to roll this weekend.
You said something very intriguing to me, Griff. You said the league won't allow this to happen. Are you insinuating that the officials may decide the course of this game and the outcome?
I didn't say that. I said the league won't allow it.
They'll throw like inclement weather in the last minute. The Illuminati's going to throw lightning bolts, delay the game just enough to give Tom Brady the game plan. I don't know.
Who says Ron Rivera's not in on it?
Ooh, we're getting deep state now. Drain the swamp. Drain the NFL football swamp here.
It's much like your beloved wrestling that you talk about a lot. I mean,
it's real to me, dang it.
Like football, it's all entertaining, but is some of it a little scripted? I don't know.
A little smidge. It could be. You might be onto something there. I mean, we've seen some really shady dealings as it pertains to, last minute holding calls, maybe a false start not called, or they let the play run out.
Maybe pulling a quarterback too soon. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, since you brought it up, I tweeted out something that all 10 people that saw that have probably been thinking, what is he talking about, right? Nobody cares about the Eagles. Well, this brings in a discussion before we get to Sunday's games. Does the league have a right to determine what players are allowed to come in and when? Griff, I want to get your take on this before I enlighten people as I flip my computer over here.
Does the league have the right? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Does the league have a right to determine what is considered tanking and what is considered an independent move by a head coach of a football team?
Independent move. Okay. The league should have no say. Let teams do what they want to do. However, these teams, and when I say teams, I'm talking about the head coach, general manager, owner, I guess some of the players, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They'll have to answer to God one day.
Vince Lombardi?
Well, depends on what your beliefs are.
It's also subjective.
They will have to answer to somebody one day for what they did. Play the game with integrity, like Kyle Shanahan does. Like, I don't know, someone like Mike McCarthy does. Play like Bill Belichick. Integrity. When I think of integrity,
totally.
I think of Bill Belichick.
100%. I feel like
he
he's
would
like
not
a disciple.
Pull a quarterback that early. Doug Peterson's going to have to answer to someone one day. Make the move now, but play the game with integrity. No, the NFL, it's like big government. We don't want big government involved in everyday stuff like this. It's up to the states. It's up to individuals. Let the individuals make their decision, but they will have to answer to someone one day for those decisions.
Are you asserting that the NFL is a constitutional republic?
Well, we know it's not that.
I just can't determine the difference between a coach resting his starters on week 17 to prepare for an upcoming playoff game or to prepare for a bye week ahead of an upcoming playoff game. In
that game specifically, Jalen Hurts wasn't having a great game.
No,
he's not the long-term answer, obviously. Well, I don't think so. No, come on.
Listen, I don't know.
He's a flash in the pan. Look, man, I don't. But you can't tell me Nate Sunburn had a better shot of leading the Eagles to victory in that game. They gave up. Now, that's their right to not want to win. I understand it to some degree. There is some strategy involved. They went from possibly picking 9 if they win the game to picking 6. Yep. That is that could change the course of your franchise.
Yep.
That's 3 spots. That's a big deal.
Yep.
But why not just start Nate? Or why not start him in the second half? Why pull Hurts with the game on the line, essentially?
And that's the argument, right? But it comes down to a deeper philosophical belief that, should the league determine when players are to be checked in and checked out of games? I'm not going to argue or dispute any of the points you just made. They're all 100% accurate. Jalen Hurts gives the Eagles the best chance to win. Nate Sunburn had no business being in that game unless Doug Peterson's looking at it in terms of, look, there's a lot at play here. If we lose this game, we go up 3 spots in the draft, which to every Eagles fan ever on sports radio is what they want, right? They want a better team. This team sucks. Wenz isn't the answer. Trade him, trade his contract, which is probably going to end up happening. But then you can't have your cake and eat it too. You're looking at this game. Jalen Hurts conceivably could have come back and won that game. They were only down by 3 points. They go for it on 4th and 4 at the goal line. Jalen Hurts short arms it, incomplete pass. To me, all these beat writers and these writers from Sports Illustrated are talking about how Doug's throwing the game. But I disagree. I think if he was going to throw the game, he wouldn't have punted in the first quarter at the 50-yard line. He would have been go for it Doug, like he is on every other game. Geez, 2 weeks ago, he went for it on 4th and 15. Didn't make it, but he still went for it. That's reckless. I just don't think that Doug Peterson is bad for the game. I don't think that pulling Jalen Hurts was a terrible thing. Now, if I'm part of that team, I may disagree. If I'm Jason Kelce, if I'm Miles Sanders, I'm looking at that like, dude, we wanted to win this game, But you also got to look at it for the long term. And the long term sometimes is painful in the short term. So it comes back down to that question that nobody wants to answer. Is it okay for coaches like Andy Reid to rest Pat Mahomes in week 17? You're not putting out the best product on the field to win. You can't argue with that. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
But there's bigger strategy involved. And like we both have said, Doug Peterson maybe was thinking about the bigger picture. It's much like as parents, we have to disappoint our kids sometimes because we see the bigger picture. Doug Peterson is our father in this situation. He's the father to Miles Sanders. He's the father to Jason Kelce. So he was looking at the bigger picture. I think, though, the issue is the way he went about it. Parents make mistakes sometimes. Daddy Peterson made a mistake in the way he went about it. Now, he got his desired goal. He reached that goal. But it was just kind of a shady way he did it.
Well,
just pull Hurts at the half.
Well, here's the thing. I listen to a lot of sports radio, and Brandon Graham, defensive end, first-time Pro Bowler. Congratulations to BG, well-deserved. Got the strip sack against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. We all remember that. I have a picture of it on my wall. I look at it every day for inspiration for my own everyday life. How pathetic, right?
All right.
But he comes on the show and he's like, no, we all knew that Nate was going to play at some point. Like, it was part of the game plan. But some of the players are saying they didn't know. So somebody's telling the truth and somebody isn't. This is what I think. I think that Doug was going to put him in at halftime. I think he wanted to see one more quarter of Jalen Hurts. And no matter what the score was at that fourth quarter mark, he was going to put Nate Sunburn in and see what happens. So for me, I'm not going to hop on the emotional bandwagon of these Philly fans who, oh my God, I can't believe that you would throw a game and let the Redskins in. And then on top of it, you have all of these Giants fans and worse yet, players tweeting, asking for a handout. Oh, please, Daddy Peterson, please, Coach Peterson.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe this. You're going to do this to us. Eat an egg, New York. You know what? Control your own destiny. Then you won't have to have the haphazard Eagles win a game for you. It's right. Terrible.
If the Giants were 9-7 and this, if the records were different, I could maybe almost understand their point. Come on, guys. You won 6 games. You really don't belong in the playoffs. The fact that you had a chance to make the playoffs at 6-10?
Yeah.
No, stop whining.
Stop. It's pretty bad.
I don't want to hear it from them. I agree with that. Yeah. Giants, be quiet.
And, there a bunch of people were talking, well, what if it was Dallas? And we'd never hear the end of this. Well, it wasn't, because they were even worse than the Giants.
Yeah.
So this the NFC East is a dumpster fire, with the exception of the nameless football team who's going to upset Tom Brady. I'm telling you right now, just watch what happens.
Okay.
It's going to be great. Here, we're riding high. Here it is. Saturday's over. I've gained all my baby weight back from back when my wife was pregnant. I'm fat. I'm bloated. I did my 10 obligatory sit-ups before the 1 o'clock kickoff between Baltimore and Tennessee, baby. A battle of 11 and 5s. The 5 seed and the 4 seed. 5, of course, travel into the 4. A rematch from last year, Griff, as you recall, where Derrick Henry went off for almost 200 yards in that game. Yeah. I was at Applebee's. I was watching it. I was drinking cheap Long Island iced teas.
On Ridgewalk Parkway?
Right there at Ridgewalk Parkway, one of my favorite watering holes. And I'm just watching Derrick Henry, just a man amongst boys. And he's the same thing this year. He clips the 2,000-yard mark.
He's the MVP.
Oh, yes. 100% agreed.
To be. Now, Aaron Rodgers will probably win it. But come on. Who is the most valuable player to their team?
Yeah.
It is Derrick Henry.
But see, you just brought up something really interesting. And I think there's a deeper truth to this. The MVP is no longer the most valuable player. They should change the acronym. It should be at least 6 or 7 letters long. It should be like most valuable player that helped his team make it to the playoffs or win the division or do something, because it's no longer about an individual effort. Now, you could argue that the offensive line played a huge role in his success, which of course they do. There were some gaping holes. But at the same time, man, I'm watching Kyle Brandt on Tuesday mornings, angry runs. And here's Derrick Henry throwing Josh Norman into the stands.
Right.
It's insane. This guy is just a monster. So I agree with you, Griff. I think Derrick Henry is the MVP. I don't think he'll get it. No. Much to your chagrin, much to your agreement, actually, I do think that Aaron Rodgers will win. Much to the chagrin of most NFL fans. But go ahead with your prediction on this. I'm very interested on what you're going to say about this matchup.
I like the Titans. I think the Titans are gonna come through, baby. Derrick Henry, like you said, he probably going to run for 200 yards again. Tannehill, let's not overlook Tannehill. This guy is still somehow overlooked and underrated 2 years into doing this now. The weakness for Tennessee is their defense, even with Vrabel as their head coach. It's kind of strange. I just don't trust. And he hasn't proven it yet. Lamar Jackson, can he win a big game? This is a big game. He's going to lose this game again. And really, you look at Lamar, what kind of weapons does he have? Hollywood Brown? J.K. Dobbins?
Well, you're talking about offensive weapons. Of course, Tennessee, you just think about Derrick Henry, right?
But then they do have two awesome receivers.
But when you look at Baltimore and you look at their running game, they do have a decent running attack. They got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. People, Gus Edwards, who the heck is that guy? Dude, averaged over 5 yards a carry. J.K. Dobbins added 9 touchdowns this year. And of course, Lamar Jackson. But the question is there with that triple-headed monster, can Lamar Jackson figure out this Tennessee defense? Because they met up earlier this year. Jackson only had 51 yards on the ground. Mind you, you'd say, well, that's not bad for a quarterback. Well, it is when he eclipsed 1,000-yard mark this year. Right. So when you can only run for 51 against this team, it makes you wonder, come playoff time, look, I know you're playing in Tennessee. You know, can Lamar Jackson figure this team out and win the game with his arm? Because there's been a lot of talk about that. Can Lamar Jackson win a playoff game with his arm?
He can't, and he won't.
Wow. You're going with Tennessee in this game, are you?
Tennessee is going to win this game.
I'm going to disagree.
Oh.
Listen, this is a big game, and there are a lot of people are taking Tennessee. I know they're at home. I get it, but there's something about Baltimore this year. I think that they're going to at least go to the divisional round. There's something special about this team, and I think Lamar Jackson is going to figure it out this weekend at 1:00. I think the Baltimore Ravens win this game.
The league has figured him out. He's done. His career is probably over. He's going down the Carson Wentz path. This might be the last playoff game we see Lamar Jackson play in his career.
Wow. Hot takes. Tepid takes here in Wenz world. You expect nothing else here. That is a huge call that you just made. I hope you're wrong. I think he's good for the game. He's fun to watch. But the question that will be answered is, can he win the game with his arm? Because he can't do it with his legs. They showed it earlier this year. He can't beat this team with his legs. Now we're at 4:00. I'm probably still very bloated. I may or may not have done a couple laps around the house with my son on his tricycle. So I'm ready for more football. I'm ready for more pizza as the Bears head down to the Big Easy, still below sea level, to take on the New Orleans Saints, a 4:40 kickoff on CBS. Griff, this game has New Orleans written all over it, but you never know. Mitch Trubisky could shine. You never know. What say you there?
There's a part of me that wants to pick the Bears in this game. I don't really like the Saints. I mean, who does besides
nobody?
No, they're not a very likable team, I don't think. I mean, Drew Brees is a good guy, I guess. But hey, by the way, though, this game is also on Nickelodeon.
Is it the awards, the kids' awards?
They're doing
Mr. Trubisky winning. Nick Foles is winning an award. He has a statue in Philadelphia, has a Super Bowl ring, and he will be the Nickelodeon TV-friendly personality of the year, whatever their award is, the GAC award.
I'm almost disappointed that I know why this game has such a. I mean, Sunday at 4:00 is such a huge TV spot. Like it's gonna, and it's because of the two I mean, Chicago, New Orleans. It's gonna be lots of people are gonna watch this game. I don't think it's gonna be a good football game. I think the Saints will win this game easily. The Bears are a very mediocre team. Now, Mitch has played well lately, and he has a few weapons on offense. They're not bad. But I don't see any way the Saints lose this game. No way.
What do you think the final score is?
I think the Saints are going to go about, say, 33-17. I think the majority of the game, you'll see it about 30-3. Bears score some late touchdowns that don't really matter. That'll be that. And New Orleans will advance.
I like that pick. I think it's very logical, and I'm not going to disagree at all. I'm taking New Orleans to roll in the Big Easy. The Bears, 8-8. I mean, they had a chance to really do some damage against Green Bay. It was a close game for a little bit, and then Aaron Rodgers just showed why he is one of the candidates for MVP. And I'm not sold on Mitch Trubisky either. I'm not. And I think this game is going to expose him, especially because he's not playing at home in that cold place they call Chicago. Yeah. He's in a dome. He's playing against Drew Brees. Drew Brees has an axe to grind. I'm not sure about Alvin Kamara, but they can win this game with or without Kamara. on and off the COVID list. I don't know what's going on there. And here's another thing. Watch this COVID situation in the next week or two. The league could really push certain teams to the forefront with a couple false positive tests against some of the more detestable characters in this league. I'm just going to plant that seed. You never know. You never know.
Stay woke.
Stay woke, people. Stay woke. Inside truth. 9/11 was an inside job. 8:15. Cleveland heading over to the toothless side of Pennsylvania to take on the Steelers. I'm going to go out first here. I'm very excited about this. I can't let anybody steal this from me. Okay. The Browns are winning this game. The Cleveland freaking Browns are hot this year. They will be in the AFC Championship game with Buffalo. Watch.
Wow.
I'm calling it right now. Buffalo, Cleveland. Buffalo ekes it out. It's going to be the game of the freaking year. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be amazing. But the Steelers, I'm not sold on them. They started out really hot. You know, Roethlisberger's just being Roethlisberger. Everybody's so spoiled in Pittsburgh with this guy. This guy is a winner. They don't appreciate him anymore. He's on the decline. He's getting older. He's probably older than Kurt Warner at this point. I mean, I think for no other reason than just the energy that's coming from Cleveland right now. The whole team is juiced up. Wait. Let me rephrase that. They're on legal substances. They're just excited about their football team. And they have every reason to be. I mean, this team hasn't been in the playoffs for 18 years, I think?
It's been a while.
Since 2002. And they're rolling in this game. I think this game is going to be 27-24 Cleveland.
I agree with you. This was my upset pick of the week. I think the Browns win this game. Even their head coach, supposedly not going to be on the sidelines because of COVID.
Ooh. Is he gonna be up in the box? He'll get a better view from the box.
They're trying to figure all that out. It sounds like the league's not even gonna let him coach from home. I don't understand.
Gosh.
Come on, whatever.
We're all working from home. Why can't he coach from home?
He'll figure it out. He'll be coaching, even if it's from home. He'll still be calling plays. Yeah, I like the Browns in this game. I think there's something to be said for having that fire in the belly, for having that desire. And I think Baker obviously has it. The Browns have it. They've dealt with some COVID stuff the last couple weeks. I think they're going to use that as motivation. And the Steelers are old and slow, I think. I mean, they have people like Claypool, a rookie who's a great receiver. I mean, he has lots of weapons, at least wide receiver wise. The Browns want it more. They're hungrier. They're going to win this game. I like your idea of Cleveland versus Buffalo. That would be nice.
Oh, it would be so. Oh, two underdog teams, the story of 2020, right?
Right.
The year of the weird year. What weirder playoff matchup for a conference championship could you have?
It'd be perfect.
I mean, you look at all these teams. Those two teams would match up great. So there it is. If Griffin can find the time in his schedule, we are going to be back here in Wenz World next week to talk about the divisional round. But folks, if you've been with us for some time, you do know that we never, ever leave a segment with Radio Griff without the sage, lyrical, and I'll give you some time to come up with this, wisdom, I think is the proper word, of one zombie Tom Petty.
I forgot about this bit we used to do here together. What goes up must come down.
Learning to fly. Love it. Great song. Griff, it's always great to be with you, man. Hey, tell the people how they can engage with you on the social sphere.
You can follow me on Twitter at Radio Griff. Listen to my podcast anywhere podcasts can be found, or also online at goodnewscountdown.com.